On September 16, 2024, P. Diddy was arrested and is currently facing serious charges of racketeering, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. These charges come after nearly a year-long investigation that included multiple home raids and several lawsuits accusing Combs of sex abuse, rape, and other serious offenses. According to the indictment, Diddy allegedly orchestrated a criminal enterprise involving kidnapping, forced labor, bribery, and drug-fueled orgies referred to as freak-offs. These disturbing events involved both women and male sex workers and were reportedly meticulously organized by his staff, including managers, assistants, and security personnel. Authorities seized over 1,000 bottles of baby oil from his home during the investigation, further adding to the shocking details. Despite the gravity of the allegations, Combs pleaded not guilty to all charges, and his legal team described the prosecution as unjust. The trial is ongoing, and as more details emerge, this case has the potential to dismantle Diddy's entertainment empire and forever tarnish his legacy. Danny Masterson. You may remember Danny Masterson as the laid-back Stephen Hyde from that '70s show, but his life off-screen has taken a darker turn. In 2023, Masterson was convicted of 2 counts of forcible rape after years of allegations from multiple women. The crimes, which occurred in the early 2000s, led to a high-profile trial, especially with his ties to the Church of Scientology. Masterson maintained his innocence throughout, but the court handed him a life sentence. He won't be eligible for parole until 2048, making his fall from grace one of the most shocking in Hollywood's recent history. Winona Ryder. Unlike some of the other names on this list, Winona Ryder's crime may seem relatively tame. In 2002, the Beetlejuice and Edward Scissorhands star was arrested for shoplifting over $5,000 worth of goods from a Saks Fifth Avenue in Beverly Hills. The incident became a media spectacle, and Ryder faced charges of felony theft. While she avoided jail time, she was sentenced to probation and community service. The incident damaged her reputation, but she has since made a career comeback, most notably in the hit Netflix series Stranger Things. Harvey Weinstein. Few names have become as reviled as Harvey Weinstein's. Once one of the most powerful men in Hollywood, Weinstein's fall began in 2017 when numerous women accused him of sexual harassment, assault, and rape. The accusations sparked the Me Too movement, bringing widespread attention to sexual misconduct in Hollywood. In 2020, Weinstein was convicted of a criminal sexual act and third-degree rape, earning him a 23-year prison sentence. He is currently serving time in New York, with parole eligibility set for 2039. R. Kelly, the once celebrated R&B star known for hits like I Believe I Can Fly, now faces the consequences of years of predatory behavior. Kelly was arrested in 2019 on multiple charges, including sexual exploitation of minors, kidnapping, and racketeering. In 2022, he was sentenced to 30 years in federal prison. He won't be eligible for parole until 2052. The trial shed light on the disturbing control Kelly exerted over his victims, many of whom were underage. Elizabeth Holmes. Elizabeth Holmes was once hailed as a tech genius, the founder of Theranos, a company that promised to revolutionize blood testing. However, in 2023, she was convicted of defrauding investors and patients, after it was revealed that her technology didn't work as promised. Holmes is now serving an 11-year sentence for conspiracy and wire fraud, with a release date expected in 2034. Her fall from grace is a stark reminder that even those once viewed as visionaries can be held accountable for their actions. Suge Knight. Suge Knight, the co-founder of Death Row Records, played a pivotal role in the rise of West Coast rap, working with legends like Dr. Dre and Tupac Shakur. However, Knight's legal troubles culminated in a fatal hit-and-run incident in 2015. He pleaded no contest to voluntary manslaughter in 2018 and is currently serving a 28-year sentence. Knight will be eligible for parole in 2034, but his violent history has left an indelible mark on the music industry. Joe Exotic. Joe Exotic, star of the Netflix docuseries Tiger King, became a household name during the pandemic. However, behind the eccentric persona was a man embroiled in a murder-for-hire plot. In 2020, Exotic was convicted of hiring someone to kill his rival, Carol Baskin, as well as numerous violations of wildlife laws. He is currently serving a 22-year sentence, with parole eligibility in 2037. Despite his incarceration, Exotic continues to maintain his innocence and has even attempted to run for president from behind bars. Gary Glitter. British glam rock singer Gary Glitter, famous for his hit Rock and Roll, has faced numerous legal issues throughout his life, including child sexual abuse charges. Glitter was sentenced to 16 years in prison in 2015, but after serving half his sentence, he was released in early 2023. However, he violated the conditions of his release and was quickly returned to prison. It is likely he will serve the remainder of his original sentence, with a possible release around 2031. Jared Fogle. Jared Fogle, the former spokesperson for Subway, once inspired millions with his weight loss journey, but his personal life told a much darker story. In 2015, Fogle was convicted of possessing child pornography and traveling to engage in illicit sexual conduct with minors. He was sentenced to 15 years in federal prison and is eligible for parole in 2029. The shocking revelations about Fogle's behavior forever tarnish the image of the once beloved Subway guy. Ryan Grantham. Child actor Ryan Grantham, known for his roles in Diary of a Wimpy Kid and Riverdale, shocked the world when he was convicted of murdering his mother in 2022. After the crime, Grantham allegedly planned to assassinate Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, but turned himself in instead. He was sentenced to life in prison and will be eligible for parole in 2036. Grantham's descent into darkness remains a tragic tale of lost potential. Todd Chrisley. Reality TV star Todd Chrisley, known for Chrisley Knows Best, built a brand around his lavish lifestyle. But in 2023, Chrisley was sentenced to 12 years in prison for tax evasion and fraud. Along with his wife Julie, who was also sentenced, Chrisley was found guilty of defrauding banks and the federal government. He is expected to be released in 2035, and his once glamorous life has been replaced by the stark reality of prison. Jen Shah. Jen Shah, a cast member of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, was sentenced to 6.5 years in prison in 2023 after pleading guilty to conspiracy to commit wire fraud. Shah's case revolved around a telemarketing scheme that defrauded elderly victims. She is currently serving time in Texas, and her release is expected in 2029. Despite her legal troubles, Shah has maintained a significant media presence, with fans continuing to follow her journey. War Machine. Former MMA fighter War Machine, born John Koppenhaver, is serving a life sentence for the brutal assault of his ex-girlfriend, adult film star Christy Mack, and a male friend. In 2017, he was convicted of numerous charges, including attempted murder. Koppenhaver will not be eligible for parole until 2053, by which time he will be 71 years old. His violent past contrasts sharply with the once promising career he had in the world of mixed martial arts. Julie Chrisley. Julie Chrisley, wife of Todd Chrisley and star of Chrisley Knows Best, was convicted alongside her husband in 2023 on charges of tax evasion and bank fraud. She is currently serving a 7-year sentence, with release expected in 2030. The Chrisleys' fall from grace has been a highly publicized scandal, with their once popular reality show now a distant memory as they both serve time for their crimes. Amy Locane. Amy Locane, known for her role in Cry Baby opposite Johnny Depp, faced legal trouble after a 2010 drunk driving accident that killed a 60-year-old woman. In 2020, she was resentenced to 8 years in prison after her initial sentence was deemed too lenient. Locane will be eligible for parole in 2024, but her once bright acting career has been overshadowed by this tragic incident. C. Murder, Corey Miller. Rapper C. Murder, born Corey Miller, was convicted of second-degree murder in 2009 for the shooting of a teenager at a Louisiana nightclub. Despite maintaining his innocence, Miller is currently serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole. His case has gained attention in recent years, with celebrities like Kim Kardashian advocating for his release, citing new evidence and witness recantations. Michael Jace. Michael Jace, best known for his role on The Shield, was convicted of murdering his wife April Jace in 2014. In front of their 2 young children, Jace shot her multiple times, allegedly over a domestic dispute. He was sentenced to 40 years in prison and won't be eligible for parole until 2056. His crime sent shockwaves through Hollywood, as he was known for playing law enforcement officers on screen. Drew Drexel. Drew Drexel, a former American Ninja Warrior champion, was sentenced to 12 years in prison in 2021 after being convicted of child sexual exploitation charges. Drexel had been a fan favorite on the show, but his criminal actions have forever tarnished his public image. He is currently serving time, with release expected in 2033. Darren Sharper. Former NFL player Darren Sharper's fall from grace was swift and shocking. In 2016, Sharper was sentenced to 18 years in prison for drugging and raping multiple women across 4 states. His crimes were part of a disturbing pattern of abuse, and he won't be eligible for parole until 2034. Once a Super Bowl champion, Sharper now faces a future behind bars. Joe Sun. Joe Sun, best known for his role as Random Task in Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery, is serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole for the brutal gang rape of a woman in 1990. Sun's crime came to light years after the fact, when DNA evidence linked him to the crime. He was convicted in 2011, and shortly after entering prison, he killed his cellmate, adding to his already grim record. Jerry Harris. Jerry Harris, star of the Netflix docuseries Cheer, was sentenced to 12 years in prison in 2022 after pleading guilty to child pornography charges. Harris had been a breakout star from the show, but his actions behind the scenes revealed a much darker side. He is currently serving time, with release expected in 2034. Chris Wu. Chris Wu, a former member of the K-pop group EXO, was convicted of rape in China in 2022. Wu was sentenced to 13 years in prison after multiple women came forward accusing him of sexual assault. He will be eligible for parole in 2035, but his once thriving career has been irreparably damaged by the scandal. Shannon Richardson. Shannon Richardson, an actress who appeared on The Walking Dead, was sentenced to 18 years in prison in 2014 after sending rice-and-lace letters to then-President Barack Obama and other government officials. Richardson tried to frame her husband for the crime, but was ultimately convicted. She is expected to be released in 2031. Mark Rogowski. Mark Rogowski, a former professional skateboarder, was convicted of raping and murdering Jessica Burston in 1991. He was sentenced to 31 years in prison and is eligible for parole in 2023. Rogowski's fall from grace is a tragic example of how fame and fortune can quickly unravel in the face of unspeakable violence. These 25 celebrities, once known for their talent and fame, have committed acts that have led them to the other side of the law. From long prison sentences to tragic downfalls, their stories serve as a reminder that no amount of fame or fortune can place you above justice.